Okay, so before we dive in and start the import process in WordPress, most of the fields in this database don't have a description. There's other fields as well that don't have information, but we can get to that in the template. But description is going to be quite important. So what I've done is a very quick Python script just to show you how it could be done. And there's going to be a bit of code in this, but it's more for an example so that you could take this to a developer or figure out how to do this with Excel. You can concatenate the columns to create your own descriptions or to try and fill in blanks in the data to make it more usable. So this script, basically, what I'm trying to achieve is to create a description for all of these and also combine the course reviews. So for here, we've got all this information on course ID 2 about the ratings. So the length of the championship course, the length of the middle course, the forward and the other, and the slope. I'm not even sure what that is, but we can figure that out as we're writing the template. So I want to get this information into one table so that when we import it to WordPress, it's available in this golf course table. So this script does that. So it basically opens up the courses and the ratings. It fills in the blanks, which is really just a sort of concatenation function here that will build us a description based on what information is available. If we have information about how many holes, we include that. If we have information about the year it was built, we have that, add that in. If we have the designer, name of the course designer, we can add that in as well. And then when we run this, it will output a new database table that I can then export to CSV. Again, a developer can do this for you very quickly. This is less than 100 lines of code, and most of it was written by GitHub Copilot, which is AI. I didn't write most of this. One thing I did want to highlight very quickly is this thing here, ratings to list. So in the table here, we have multiple rows per course. So to add it to our golf course database, I want to create a list and I want to store that in just one column for one course. So what I'm doing is basically creating a JSON, which is a list of data, and I'll just run the script and then you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're just going to run this script. Off it goes. Done. So now, back in here, if we refresh this, I've got a new courses table. And what I mean is, so all the descriptions are now filled with our templated description. And then the last row here, it's a bit codey, but this is basically a list of the ratings for the course if it's available. So what I can do in WordPress is expand on this if it's available and use a small amount of code to loop over these to add them to the page content. So it's just another extra way to sort of make the data a little bit more usable for people. And I'll show you how I'll use this later. And again, this is sort of just an extra of how I would try and do something a bit different to what everybody else is doing with their data. So in the next video, we're going to dive into the import process in WordPress and get this site rolling.